Welcome. I'm Trish. Today I'll be doing a Weird Wednesday read. So if you've come in from Pick a Card or from the True Crime, then probably this is a little bit different than what you're used to. We're going to go down some rabbit holes today and we're going to look at maybe some conspiracies or something weird. But we're going to see what the cards say. So I have no real idea. I've got a bit of an idea of what I want to talk about today, but we're going to let the cards direct us on what we're reading on today. So let's shuffle these cards and we'll see what rabbit hole we're going down today. Oh, the eclipse. Okay. That's given me a thought. Okay. We're looking at... Okay, vibration. So we're looking at vibration. I'm feeling like human resonance. Is that what it's called? The Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance. That's going to be coming from the solar eclipse that's coming. We have a solar eclipse coming up on the 14th. So next week. I think it could be next week. But there is a solar eclipse coming. So something's happening around the energy here. And this is a negative vibration card. So it could be causing negative vibrations. Now, I'm not doing this. This is not an astrology read. This is a Weird Wednesday rabbit hole. So we're going to look at what's happening with this solar eclipse. Also seeded earth. So seeded earth, we're looking at a race or a species of DNA, maybe mixed DNA, that to create humans connected to the solar eclipse. I wonder if there's going to be more sightings around the world. Okay, when I did a reading last week, last week's reading, they were talking about all of the sightings. There's been a lot of sightings this year. And sorry, I'm just tapping in here. And it was almost like they were coming in to check the earth or to check the vibration or to check the energy levels of the earth and to see, if it's still good for their seeded project, like their seeded earth project. So if we're still in good energy. Now, because we're bringing back the eclipse when it's coming up to the eclipse on the 14th, the other thing that I'm also thinking about was there was a sign in the sky prophesized in the Bible, and I don't know it off by heart, but I know it's something to do when the moon is at the feet of Virgo, which is what this eclipse is. This is all playing out in Virgo. So I'm just putting the story together now. Both the moon and the sun are in Virgo right now. This is where we're going. Right now, the sun and the moon will form an eclipse, a solar eclipse, because they're going to be both conjunct in Virgo on the 14th of October. Now, there is a prophecy in the Bible. Now, when I'm editing this video, if I can find it, I will put it put it up on the screen. There's some kind of prophecy about a sign in the sky when the moon is at the Virgo's feet. There's a crown of stars above her head, and there is something in her womb. So there's something in her womb. Now, just from memory, there was some kind of 9 months ago or 10 months ago, there was some kind of asteroid that went through the constellation of Virgo, like the sign of Virgo. And it could have been called the Child. I'll have to look up what it was actually called. A really weird name for an asteroid, I got to say. It had a strange name and it went through the sign of Virgo about 9 or 10 months ago. That's right. It was saying that something is in the womb of Virgo for 9 months. I'm going to have to get it and I'm going to have to put it on the screen because I don't know it off by heart. But there's something sitting in Virgo's womb for 9 or 10 months. And then there's an asteroid right now, apparently, in the sign of Virgo in her womb, sitting in her womb, in the area of her womb, in the constellation in the sky. So there's a sign in the sky prophesied in the Bible. Now, I do believe that this happened in this placement fell back in maybe 2017, I think it was. It did already occur, but this asteroid that's called the Child is now in the womb of Virgo, constellation Virgo. How weird is that? That is just bizarre. For one thing, an asteroid is called the Child. So I'm going to have to, because I had no idea what I was reading on today, I'm just going off the cards and what they're telling me. And then it's bringing me back these thoughts. These thoughts are coming in. That's why I'm reading slow, because I'm thinking about these different things and putting these pieces together. So we're going down a rabbit hole together. We're putting these pieces together. So there's a strange number one, that there's an asteroid called the Child, and it's been sitting, or it's in the womb of Virgo, when there was a prophesized sign in the sky in the Bible. So I'm going to look that up for you as well. But with the cards, that's what they're wanting to talk about today. How bizarre, how bizarre. So, because we've got negative vibration, and seated earth. Okay, seated earth is making me think like a new race or a new species, or it could be that prophecy is about the returning of Christ, I believe. It could be like I don't know exactly what it is. I'm just from memory trying to remember what it's about, but it's something about someone being born or something being born. And then we get this card here about a seated race around the time of the eclipse, which is coming up on the 14th. So it's really bizarre that I'm reading for this week's reading when we've got an eclipse next week taking place. We also have a really strange sign in the sky that was prophesied, and we're talking about negative energy, and we're talking about seated earth. So different beings or different races seeding earth. So and then we're talking about a birth or a child going through a womb in Virgo. So there's an absolute connection. My words aren't putting it together right, but there's an absolute connection there between a seeding taking place from other races and a asteroid called the Child going through the womb at the moment, while both the moon and the sun are sitting in the sign of Virgo. So yeah, I'm just blown away. I'm blown away by that. Okay, what do you want to tell me? Let's have a look. Let's see if we can go down this rabbit hole and see what's going on here. What I've got from this now, I've put up on the screen to the side here what I'm looking at on these cards, so you can follow along with me. Now, I'm reading on like the sign in the sky at the moment, the eclipse that's both the sun and the moon in Virgo, as well as that's the prophesied story of the sign in the sky, which is just, I believe it's either the second coming or the false prophet. I'm not sure, but it indicates something about the other second coming or the false prophet is what I believe it's about. Now, I'm getting here in these cards, there's a caution. First of all, I'm seeing a caution, and it's a bit of a negative vibration that could be happening through that eclipse coming up, whether that's the Schumann resonance. Could be putting out negative vibrations. So probably caution everybody here to kind of call in their spirit teams and just make sure you've got, protection around you. Really tap in and connect with them, because I feel, or I don't want to say stay out of the sun. I'm not sure what it is that I'm trying to say, but there is a connection here about being cautious around the energies of the solar eclipse. Personally, I don't think I'm going to actually be out near it when it's around. But what I'm getting here when I first laid these cards, yeah, I'll come back to that. When I first laid these cards, I'm getting here a feeling that the narrative is going to change for the future. So there's going to be an upcoming change of narrative of we've been programmed. So the humans here, like us, how we've been programmed, there's a changing coming. There's a changing of that narrative. That's occurring. It says simulation is what I'm reading, and it's almost the sense that I'm getting from that is like, I picture like a simulation being, kind of indoctrination where there's a program that's pumped through into the people. I'm not saying that's the way it is, but this is kind of the energy that I'm feeling here. It's like, but that's going to change is what I'm feeling. There's going to be a change in that programming or change in the narrative somehow. Now I'm seeing here, this says see the future, and it's all about the looking glass technology. But what I'm feeling this to be is about this eclipse is bringing changes. There's bringing changes into the earth. And I see this being, this thing here almost look like it's like a false prophet standing before the people, and the people are just believing what they're told. And I feel like it's run by maybe something not so good up here. So above that, it says pray. That's why I'm saying I feel like you need to really get grounded and get connected and feel, how do I say this? This is a hard one. It's actually difficult. It's not difficult to read. It's difficult for me to say because, like, I know this is weird Wednesday. So it's like I've got the permission to go weird, but I don't want to go scary. I don't want to scare anybody. I don't want to be like a doomsday kind of prophet. By no means I'm not picking up that the world's going to be destroyed. I'm not picking that. What I'm picking up is a change in the narrative or a change in the programming that's occurring. Now I am seeing fires. This is fires, but it could be that there could be some kind of laser technology that's being used for something, whether that's weather disasters or something's going on around that time in the month of October, either fires or energy weapons. Maybe there's a battle playing out in the background that we don't know about, that we're not seeing. I'm not seeing any battle cards here, but I'm feeling like maybe there's some kind of battle playing out because the narrative's trying to change. Okay, so now if it is the case here, I'm sorry, I'm going deep and I'm just really trying to go with whatever's coming in here. So if it is that narrative of, say, the second coming of Christ is what that prophecy may be, there's got to be people in the background that are not agreeing with that. They don't want the narrative changed. They do not want to change or let go of power from the way things currently are, because they're not going to let power go that easily. So something's playing out in the background. So whether that's we could be hit with distractions, as in fires or floods or hurricanes or something. There could be some kind of distraction. I'm not getting any distraction cards, but what I'm feeling is like something's playing out in the background, because if there is some kind of second coming or, Christ energy or new programming, and when I say Christ energy, it doesn't have to be the second coming of Christ. It could be, I don't know. I do not know the answer to that. I'm feeling that it's a change of energy that's trying to take place, trying to occur. There's trying to be a change going on, a change of energy, as in change of narrative. It's like people may be opening their eyes. We've got this giant eye on the picture. People may be starting to open their eyes to what's going on in the world playing out the way it is. Like, I know a lot of people that watch these kind of things, they already have their eyes open, but maybe this eclipse season, this eclipse energy that's coming up, or this sign in the sky, is an opportunity for the masses to open their eyes. Now, in saying that, whoever's behind the scenes running the current narrative, current programming, is not going to want the masses to have their eyes open. There's no way they're going to want that to happen. So therefore, there's something playing out in the background that's trying to prevent that from happening. And it's saying that we could be distracted by fires or laser technology causing something that's causing us to not actually see what's going on. There is a caution around it though, so it's saying be cautious about having your eyes open and just being aware of what distractions are playing out on the media at this time, and understanding what then is being covered up. So looking at what is not being shown instead of what is being shown. So I'm also seeing here the DNA. So the DNA changes in the DNA. So yeah, if it was the Christ energy coming in to the people, the energy coming in could be allowing our DNA perhaps to get more strands, or get changes, because I'm definitely hearing changes to the narrative or the programming. So maybe it's the programming of our DNA. Sorry, I don't understand that too much, but maybe our DNA is somehow programmed, and maybe there's some kind of changes that could be occurring with the sun energy, like the solar energy, solar eclipse energy. Maybe there's some, or the Schumann resonance. Maybe there's some kind of changes that's going to come through that energy that's going to affect our DNA in some way. So it's going to reprogram or change our DNA in some way. So maybe we'll think differently, or maybe it'll try to close our eyes. Maybe it will try to open people's eyes, but there's some kind of change of narrative or change in the programming that's taking place around this eclipse. Or it's meant to be the Christ energy coming in, so our DNA can be awakened and can be opened, but there's something playing out that's negative there that's trying to stop that from happening. There is a caution around it, because the way of the future going forward is supposed to be more like that Christ energy, that Christ consciousness, I think it's called. So that is the way it's supposed to be going forward. We're supposed to have our eyes open. We're supposed to move into that harmonic, beautiful Christ consciousness energy. But I feel like people are not going to, the way it's programmed at the moment is not, they're not going to allow that to happen. So therefore, something has to happen to put us in fear, because if we're in that fear-based energy, then we can't absorb that love-based energy. So just be cautious of that. Be cautious of things playing out that put you in that fear-based energy, because I feel like maybe this energy from the solar eclipse that's happening is supposed to be a DNA upgrade, is supposed to be where we're, opened up to another level, or maybe we are supposed to get some kind of Christ consciousness repair to our DNA, or it's meant to come in to help us in some way, but there is something playing out that's not going to allow that. That's going to cause negativity or distractions or laser technology, energy weapons, or something like that that's playing out, that's not wanting us to reap the benefits that's coming from the Schumann resonance. Sorry. Okay, what would I be doing with this? Let me think about that. So where I said I wouldn't go out into it, what it's saying is don't be sent into fear over something, because you'll miss out on an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to perhaps have your DNA reprogrammed, your DNA, the narrative change in some way. So I feel like, again, it's important as light workers. The light workers need to use their energy to help this in the best way that they can. So it's important for us not to be fearful. So energy workers, it's important for you not to be in fear-based energy right now over the month of October, especially around mid-October when we have that eclipse taking place in Virgo. This is bizarre. It's really not where I was thinking of going. Now, what would be the advice of the actual eclipse? Should we be in the eclipse? Should we, be in that Schumann resonance? Should we be taking it in? What should we be doing? What's your advice on what we should be doing? Expanding. It's wanting us to expand our that's also the little alien card as well. Expand our DNA, expand and it's a higher self. So it could be tapping into our own higher self and what it is that our higher self wants us to do. It also says fifth dimension on that card as well. So what our higher self is telling us to do is the right thing for us at that time. That's what we need to do. Any other advice of what we should be doing with this upcoming eclipse energy? Okay, covered over. So we've got the covered over card, which I expected. They fell out in an unusual way. I'm just going to put them back, and I'm going to grab a different box of cards. Okay, what advice would you have for us in the energies of the solar eclipse, please? What advice can you give to us in the energies of the solar eclipse? Okay, so it's saying be patient because it's not going to happen. You're not going to have, okay, you're not going to see it happen instantly. It's not like it's going to be the eclipse occurs on the 14th and then the 15th you're waking up and you're in fifth dimension, or, you've got all this Christ consciousness energy, or your DNA has been repaired. It's not going to be like that. It's like it's patient. It's something that can happen over time if we're not pushed down into the narrative or the programming that we're already in. If we're not pushed further down into that fear-based programming, then this opportunity for growth of the and repair of the DNA and is a slow process, but it's really important not to be fearful. Okay, also we've got the card of okay, what is best to use the energy. Okay, but there is deadlines. Okay, so it's about getting more information and knowledge and open yourself up to more knowledge about this. If you don't know about these things, it's saying now's the time to look into these things and to start learning a little bit more about these things. Now, we're also on deadlines as well. So it's like the opportunity portal for this energy that's coming in is not going to be open for a long time. So there's a deadline to it. It's like yeah, so we really need to keep our vibration really high over the month of October, because there could be like how do they say when people get an upgrade or a download, an ascension, like when they talk about ascension symptoms, maybe there's an opportunity for that coming, but it's only in the month of October. But be very, very careful not to be following the fear-based narrative that's going to be coming out at the same time. Okay, and inspiration is the other one. So it's about, this is, be inspirational, be the light worker, hold that energy present in your heart that's going to help other people. So really, really focus on that energy of self-love as well as love for all, and that connection energy. So really hold that energy as a beacon for others that will need it at this time, especially people that are around you and your loved ones, because it could be hard. The energy could be hard for the people going on around you. So it's about holding that space for them and trying to keep that heightened energy, to keep that space open and flowing for the people around you. So, wow, this is really unusual reading. It went in a complete different way I would never have expected, but I thought, yeah, a lot of dots connected there, and it was like going down a rabbit hole, like when you get on the internet and you start looking at this, you start looking at that, and you go down a rabbit hole. Well, it was good. It was like connecting all these little dots together with the cards without actually going onto YouTube channels and having a look at different things, or TikTok. I think it was like going deep down a rabbit hole without even looking at a video. So I hope that you resonated with this and it makes sense to you. If there's something about it that you kind of understand or you got out of it, I'd love you to comment, because I think it's a really important thing that's going on right now. Let me know what you think is going on with the energies of the eclipse and how you think what we can do to help humanity with that. Thank you for joining me.